In this module, we will be looking at the study of kinship. Kinship has been a fundamental topic in anthropology for generations of scholars. It has been the focus of numerous studies, reports, articles, books, and more. Anthropology students like yourself are asked again and again to draw their own kinship diagrams. It has become as much a rite of passage for students as ethnography has been for anthropologists. What is kinship? Kinship is a cultural system that defines familiar relationships and obligations. In short, we are talking about family. Anthropologists have found that cultures often conceive of family in very different ways. For example, some cultures have very general kinship terminologies, while others are more specific. Consider the term aunt and uncle in American culture. They are used jointly for both your mother's and your father's brothers and sisters. But other kinship systems have distinct terms for father's brother and mother's brother. Example, paternal uncle and maternal uncle. Other kinship systems can be even more general. For example, your parents may take the same kinship term as their siblings. This means that your father, your father's brother, and your mother's brother may all be called by the same term. In kinship terminology, systems fluctuate. So do kinship obligations and responsibilities. In some cultures, married children do not set out to start a new home. Instead, they are obligated to live with the new husband's family or the new wife's family. They become an integral part of the family, helping to care for both new babies and the elderly. Anthropologists also find that our conception of kinship can be far more complicated than you might first imagine. Chapter 9 begins with a story about two women who were conceived by sperm from a sperm bank. Their mothers each visited the same sperm bank and received sperm from an anonymous donor. This donor sperm happened to be from the same man. Many years later, the two women, as adults, learned of their shared father. They were able to meet one another, greet each other as sisters. When their story was published by the New York Times, their biological father also learned the story. A year later, all three were reunited as a father and his two daughters. Consider these questions. Do you think the meeting of these three people is a meeting between a father and his daughters? Does our notion of fatherhood involve more than donating sperm? Are two women who have never met before truly sisters? We also will find that kinship does not always require biology. Many people around the world practice fictive kinship. That is, they take on kinship roles despite no actual biological connection. Kinship is a powerful cultural system that affects our daily lives. It is so fully integrated into our lives, we often don't stop to give it a second thought. But in this chapter, we will. As we seek to better understand kinship, we will cover the following questions. How are we related to one another? Are biology and marriage the only basis for kinship? Is a country like one big family? How is kinship changing in the United States?